Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about how I annotate my books. I know annotating can be a difficult thing to start for some people because it sometimes feels like it pulls you out of the book or you just don't know where to start or what exactly to annotate. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the physical equipment that I use, how and what to annotate. I've developed 3 different styles: simple annotating, commentary annotating, and then analytical annotating. Most of this video is going to be talking about analytical annotating and the specific steps and things that I do when I'm annotating in depth. I have lots of examples here for you of books that I've annotated in these ways, and next month I'm also going to be filming a reading vlog. I'm going to read The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas, and I'm going to be annotating it in lots of depth, so you're going to be seeing in real time how I annotate. Before I start, I want to say please make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing all sorts of reading and writing videos throughout the year, as well as a few vlogs and video essays once I have more time. I'm aiming to hit 1,000 subscribers by the summer. I'm going to start with the physical equipment, and the first thing is, of course, tabs. This is my favorite part of annotating because the books just end up looking so pretty after. I got a big pack from, I believe, Shein a couple years ago. I don't shop there much anymore, but you can get tabs in pretty much any stationery store. I recommend getting lots of different colors. I like to make the tabs specific to the cover of the book. It just ends up looking so pretty when you're done. Next is using a variety of different pens. I like to use red and black pens mainly when I'm annotating, but I also have a purple pen that I really have liked using as well. I don't like green when I'm annotating, or blue as much. Blue's been growing on me. But find main colors that you like of pens, and most importantly, find good quality sharp pens. When I say sharp pens, I mean not this kind. These are dry pens. Sorry, you can't really see the tip. This is the Muji 0.5 mm. These aren't good for annotating because the tip is much too rounded and it's dry, so you need to press hard, and then the actual lines come out very thick. This kind of pen is good to use. It has a sharper tip. This kind of tip is the best to use when you're annotating, especially in books with not much space in the margins or if the pages are really thin, because the ink actually comes out clearly, but it dries quickly and then it's not as thick, so you can actually write small and be able to decipher it after. Next thing you're going to want to have are lots of different post-its. I have brown post-its, lined post-its. I have plain white ones somewhere. I have clear post-its as well. Just using all kinds of papers will make your book again look so pretty once you're done. This is of course for if you have any extra annotations or thoughts that you want to put in and it doesn't fit in the margins. I also have another way that I use my clear post-its that I'm going to discuss a little bit later. And then I don't have these with me right now, but dried flowers, petals, or little bits of fan art or Polaroids, I will again discuss what you use them for later. Finally, of course, you want highlighters. I haven't used highlighters to annotate in so long because I just find it makes such a mess. It always bleeds through and it messes up my book so much. That is why you need to be very particular with your highlighters. I got these from Sainsbury's, I think, and these are really good. The actual tip is thinner than most highlighters. It doesn't come out too dark or too light to the point where you want to do it over a lot of times, and it does not bleed through, thank goodness. These highlighters are the ones I used to use, and as pretty as the colors are, it was way too dark and messy. I've seen on TikTok people have highlighter tapes. So it's like thin tape and you put it over the writing as a highlighter. I think that would be absolutely perfect, especially if you're annotating slowly. I don't think it's practical if you want to be just reading a book and annotating it casually to pull out a whole tape highlight and measure and cut every single time you find something you want to highlight. That's pretty much all of the physical equipment that I use, and now we are going to move on to the specific ways that I annotate, and the first is simple. The 2 examples I have for this are Franny and Zooey by J.D. Salinger and 1984 by George Orwell. I read both of these in the last 2 weeks and I annotated them in this way. This is very simple. First, I only pick 2 or 3 highlighter colors. For Franny and Zooey, I just picked 2, and then for 1984, I picked 3, but the black ones I mainly only used up here. Pretty much the only thing I do when I'm annotating simply is underlining and tabbing. I try to be particular with what I underline. I will also occasionally write my thoughts in the margins, but usually this is very rare when I'm annotating simply. I think in both Franny and Zooey and 1984, I only wrote in the margins 2 or 3 times. And then of course I tab, in my opinion, significant scenes, emotional scenes, or just random quotes that I really liked. Honestly, the main rule about annotating is if you think it's performative or if you're doing it performatively, you're not going to have fun, you're not going to enjoy it, and it's not going to be personalized applies to you. Some of the quotes I've tabbed, for example, might seem meaningless to other people, but it's just very special to me because it reminds me of something or someone. I'll also tab at the top the main sections of the books. If I have a really favorite scene, then I will tab it at the top, but mainly, for example, in 1984, I've tabbed the 3 parts. And then for classics that have multiple books, for example, Anna Karenina, Frankenstein, there's different volumes. I'll obviously tab that at the top. In Franny and Zooey, I tabbed Zooey's section and then Franny's section. And the last thing I'll do when I'm annotating simply is adding a review at the end. One side is just going to be either a piece of fan art that I liked, or a clip from a movie, or for Franny and Zooey's case, a book cover that I really liked. And then I'll add another bit of fan art or another picture, the dates that I read it, and then my review. This is like a simplified version of my Goodreads review or just my general thoughts, and I'll slip that at the end, kind of poking out. I'm gonna say this is my favorite way to annotate because it is just so easy. It does not pull me out of the book at all, but it still makes sure that all of my books on my bookshelf are personalized to me. This is my review for 1984, and that's basically it for when I'm annotating simply. The next style of annotating is commentary annotating, and the example I have here is the Caraval series. As you can see, it looks so pretty. Commentary annotating is where I'll have the most fun, and it is the most book talk-esque kind of annotating. First and foremost, tabs. I will pick lots of different tabs. I will practically try to get every color on the cover, and I will of course tab loads of different things, much more than when I'm annotating simply. Commentary annotating is when I will use highlighters. For Caraval, I switched between chapters. So one chapter I would do pink or purple highlighter, and the next I would do blue. I write a lot in the margins for these, and it's basically all of my theories, my thoughts, my reactions, my emotions as I'm reading it. It's really fun to annotate like this, and again to reread it after. I wouldn't do this with a book that I feel has a lot of depth to, or if it's a classic. Obviously, if you want to, it's fine. I'm sure it would be fun, but I personally like to do it with less serious books, funner books like fantasies or romances. It's kind of just like Wattpad comments on the sides and margins. Occasionally, I'll give a little bit more of an in-depth analysis of something, or I'll recall back to a quote or a scene or a character, and again, write my own theories and ideas for what's gonna happen. But generally, this is just like, oh my god, or why'd she do that, or what's going on. This, in my opinion, is the funnest form of annotating because it ends up looking so pretty once you're done, and it's just fun to do it as you are annotating. I haven't annotated like this in a very long time though, and I also haven't done my analytical type annotating in a long time. Usually I just do simple annotating, but I really need to get back into proper annotating this year. And then of course the last form of annotating, and this is going to be all of my tips and ideas, is analytical annotating, and the one and only example I have for this is The Bad Beginning, the first book of a series of unfortunate events. This is actually a monster. Falling apart at the seams. There are pages just falling out. It's like double the size that it was when I first got it. This is the most in-depth annotating that I will do, and surprisingly enough, I haven't done it with a classic, but this is the kind of annotating that you will pretty much primarily do with classics or books that you're rereading. I will give you guys a flick through at the end, but every single page has writing or drawings or something in it. Again, I'll be tabbing a lot more in here. This is the kind of annotating that you cannot be particular with at all. It is gonna be a mess, and that's what makes it so beautiful. Before I go into step-by-step ideas, I will tell you some of the things that I usually analyze when I'm being more analytical, and I will preface this by saying that I personally don't like to do commentary annotating when I'm annotating like this. You know, I don't like to say, oh, or this is cute. I tend to want to be primarily analytical. So the kinds of things that I will point out or write about in a book is the context, the language techniques, the symbolism, the representation of certain characters or scenes, the emotional charges. If there are literary references, then I'll include literary references, lots of context, like I said. That's why I usually do it with books I reread or classics, because for books I'm rereading or for classics, I'll be able to read on the book before and after in order to add other people's annotations as well. If you're going into a new book and a classic and you want to annotate like this, then I suggest reading on the main themes of the novel beforehand, because you'll be able to look out for that as you're reading and analyzing. And then once you're done with the whole book, you want to take some time to read a lot on the book and read other people's annotations and ideas, even author interviews and stuff about the context, and then reanalyze and re-annotate according to that. This takes a very long time. Annotating this book genuinely drained me of life. It's been 2 years since I finished this and I still haven't started the second book, even though it is a short book. I'm now going to talk about specific steps and things that I do when I'm annotating, and this I usually only primarily do with my analytical annotating, but you can do this with every other style as well. The first thing I do is sign my name and the dates that I'm reading it. So for a series of unfortunate events, there's already a place to put your name at the beginning, but I also added my name again here where it says Book the First, The Bad Beginning by Lemony Snicket, illustrated by Brett Helquist, and then I added annotated by my name, and I added the date here at the top, 2023. It's been 3 years, oh my gosh. The next thing I will do is a mood page at the beginning. So in a series of unfortunate events, there is an important dedication, an infamous dedication, to Beatrice, darling dearest dead. So I added that here and did a mood page. I wrote a little couplet that I thought was related to the book. There's a lot of ash here because obviously fire is very important. There's also this paper that I added here that's a mood page again. Okay, whoa, it is actually falling apart. This is very fun to do and start off with a book, but again, if you're reading for the first time, then you're likely going to do this once you're done with the book. The next thing I do is using the clear post-its, and I will trace images and then add that to the book, usually at the start of chapters, but sometimes over the writing as well. Now, I trace just because I kind of suck at drawing and art, but if you are good at art, then feel free to draw straight onto the book or onto the post-it without tracing. I'll show you guys a few of these images. They, again, aren't the best. I'm not that good at drawing, but very fun to do, and it looks really pretty when the book is done. There's this one that took so long to do. I'll also have this around the book as well, not just at the start of chapters, like this one of Count Olaf's Troop. There are also some places where I'll illustrate directly onto the writing or just do little drawings around. I just did a few flowers here. I drew over the writing here. You'll see in this book that I use a lot more of a combination of highlighters and pens and post-its and papers. It's a big mess and I love it. The next thing I will do is bookmark my favorite scenes or chapters with dried flowers or with fan art or pictures. One of my favorite chapters is chapter 6, and so I tabbed it with a little flower petal here. It is very fragile now. I haven't printed out any fan art or pictures from the series, but I need to when I'm annotating the second book. At the end of the book, I will do a signature again. There is more ash here. I don't even know how I got this ash. Did I burn the actual book? I'm not sure what I think I blacked out as I was annotating this. At the very end, I added a section for all of my theories and thoughts, and this is very long and definitely not enough. Not enough for a series of unfortunate events, but I'm sure it will be enough for some other books. Not every book has this, but some books have a first chapter of the second book in the series, or just another book by the author, or just extra space for acknowledgements or other stuff. You can use that space to just stick plain paper and then write your thoughts and ideas. Or you can do the same thing I did for the reviews, which is just printing out paper and then adding your theories there. This is the kind of annotating that you put your soul into. Like I said, I don't like to do commentary when I'm analyzing like this, but if you want to, then go ahead. This is one of my prized possessions, honestly. And if you know a reader, then this is an incredible gift that takes a lot of time and effort, and it will be very much appreciated. That is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, in a month or so, I'm going to be filming a reading vlog as I am in-depth analytically annotating The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas. If you guys have any other ideas, then please let me know. And remember, annotating is meant to be lots of fun and very personal to you. If you have a different way, then that's fine as well. And what makes annotating so special is that it makes it so personalized. Thank you again for watching. Also make sure to follow my TikTok and Substack and Medium. I'm getting more active on the latter two as well. And I will see you guys next week. Okay. There's a mosquito on my eyebrow. Sorry, I hate mosquitoes. Where is that picture? Where is it?